The situation in the country's east remains deeply worrying. Our peacekeeping colleagues, MONUSCO, has intensified its support to the Congolese armed forces to counter the advances of the M23 armed group in North Kivu and its capital, Goma. The mission reports that heavy clashes are ongoing for the control of Sake. MONUSCO is conducting day and night joint patrols with the Congolese armed forces, and they also supported the deployment of Congolese forces to reduce the threat to civilian populations. Unfortunately, during these clashes, 9 UN peacekeepers were injured. They're currently receiving medical treatment. Since Wednesday, January 22nd, MONUSCO's quick reaction forces have also directly supported the Congolese armed forces. Meanwhile, the mission continues to provide essential medical and logistical support to the Southern African Development Community military mission in the DRC. For its part, the Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs reports that the clashes between the Congolese army and the M23 have led to significant new displacement of civilians in and around Goma. Between the 12th of January and yesterday, more than 35,000 people fleeing violence in Masisi have sought refuge in displacement sites in Goma. Shelling in areas where displaced people are sheltering on the outskirts of Goma, including Magungo, Bulengo, and Lushagala, has caused people to flee towards the city. This latest escalation follows intense fighting in Minova in South Kivu 3 days ago, which displaced thousands of people. Humanitarian access to the area remains restricted due to the ongoing insecurity. Our humanitarian colleagues say the situation in Goma is dire, with the territory of Goma and neighboring Nyiragongo territory also hosting more than 700,000 displaced people. OCHA warns that the recent surge in violence will only aggravate an already critical humanitarian situation, further increasing the suffering of thousands of men, women, and children who are experiencing displacement and inhumane conditions. Our humanitarian partners are also concerned about the increasing number of wounded people arriving in already overwhelmed health facilities. And you will have seen that yesterday we issued a statement in which the Secretary General expressed his alarm at the resumption of hostilities in the country's east. He condemned in the strongest terms the renewed offensive launched by the M23 since the beginning of the year and its expansion into North and South Kivu. This offensive, he said, has a devastating toll on the civilian population and heightens the risk of a broader regional war. The Secretary General calls on the M23 to immediately cease its offensive, withdraw from all occupied areas, and abide by the 31st of July 2024 ceasefire agreement. The Secretary General also said that he is deeply troubled by the most recent report of the group of experts concerning the presence of Rwandan troops on Congolese soil and continued support to the M23. He calls on all actors to respect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and to put an end to all forms of support to armed groups, whether Congolese or foreign. The Secretary General reaffirms his unwavering support for the peace efforts led by President João Lourenço of Angola to de-escalate tensions between the DRC and Rwanda and commends him for the progress made so far. He urges the parties to remain engaged in the Luanda process and maintain momentum on the neutralization of the FDLR and the withdrawal of Rwandan forces, as well as the swift operationalization of the reinforced ad hoc verification mechanism.
Thanks, Farhan. Follow up on the situation in the DRC. You said 9 peacekeepers were injured. Do you have any information about the seriousness of their injuries?
We take all of the injuries seriously, but they are receiving medical care now, and we hope that they will recover.
And I understand that President Herzog is coming on Monday, right?
Lakini huwezi kuniambia mtu kiongozi wa jeshi.
Kila mtu na montagne.
Karibu sana. 23 ambao walikuwa hapa kwenye bonde la Kibumba waliokuwa wakitwangana na jeshi.